This is Wintergatan's mechanical music box. Built in 2016 by Molin, it was described as a plywood substitute for the original marble machine, which they were not able to bring on tour with them. It plays many different songs and melodies using a DIY music box, one of these. These DIY music boxes are like any normal music box, except you can make your own custom songs on this programming paper, which can be many feet long, to play many different songs at many different lengths. It's powered by a Lego Technic paper pulling mechanism, as Martin calls it, in part with a small DC motor. My name is Dan Carroll, and in this series of videos, I will be documenting the build process of my own motorized music box, which obviously was hugely inspired by the original built by Martin. Welcome to the building of the motorized music box. In this first episode, I will show you the first drawings that I made for the project almost a whole year ago, and the start of the building of the main wooden structure, and some of the first songs that I punched out for the music box. Before anything starts, I will leave all the links of parts needed to build something like this yourself. Also, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my dad. Without him, I would not be doing this, since he is who I got all the tools from to make this. Also, the Wintergatan Discord server, in particular Molin from Meticulous Designs for inviting me into the CAD team music box project, and the rest of the team for giving me some ideas of where to find some parts. Here is the very first drawing of the music box that I made in April of 2020. It's a very crude representation, and there were many changes made along the way. I was trying to think of a different way to pull the paper through. My first idea was to use something of like a player piano mechanism, but then I thought that would be too complicated, and possibly to use two rubber rollers on top of each other. This will come later in the development stage, but I just decided to use Martin's original Technic design. About 6 or 7 months later, I drew up some proper final sketches, or blueprints if you will, with the final dimensions. I used 1/2 inch or 12mm for you Europeans, Baltic birch plywood from my local lumber yard, which I would then realize was not worth the $60 I bought it for. I think this table was the hardest thing to set up out of all of the tools that I used for this entire project. a small hinge door on the front like the original, which I think now should have been a bit bigger, but it will do. At this point, I had most of the wooden box part cut out, and I just needed to nail it all together. That'll be really good for the microphone, too. Let me see how it sounds out on the table. Alright, that sounds good. Like it wasn't gonna sound good. We decided to use this method of holding together the wooden boards. It's basically just a scrap piece of wood glued and nailed in the corner of two pieces of the plywood using a pin nailer. If you nail straight through the plywood, it will splinter and eventually crack, and it'll never be able to hold itself together. Maybe if I were to use something like hardwood, I would not have to do this step, but I like the look of the plywood, and the hardwood probably would have been too expensive. Now on to part 2 of this video, some of the first songs that I made for the music box. I first bought the music box mechanism a couple months before I started building. This specific music box was a Wingo Store 30 Notes music box with copper gears, which had many problems that I think I will talk about another time because I think that deserves a dedicated video. The very first song that I made for it was Happy Birthday, but that came with the set. The first real song was All Was Well. Here is the first time I heard the song in full. I would go on to make many changes to this song, including an entire new part, changing it to the Music Box and Molin version from the Music Box and Melodica version. This song has many mistakes and problems in the programming paper, so I may completely redo the song in the future. I then used Music Box Maniacs to fully compose Star Machine 2000, which took much longer than it should have because when I was about 90% done with composing it, which by the way was not made with MIDI, just by ear and putting each note individually, I accidentally deleted the entire thing and basically gave up for 2 weeks, but then remade it and finished composing it for Music Box. I ended up punching out the whole song in like 4 hours, which is the fastest I ever made a song for the Music Box. I then made some smaller songs like Wintergatan's On the Phone song and E18 by Detektivbrån. Right now I'm working on the Music Box Harp and Hackbrett, which is my longest song at like 11 feet long and about 4,000 holes. I'm about halfway done with it as of writing the script. In episode 2 of this series, I will show the building of the programming paper wheel, the support structures, and the beginnings of the electronics. Thank you all so much for watching.